Hey everyone, History Mystery Man with you again from Greenfield Village in Dearborn, Michigan. This was, well, that's a Model T, huh? How cool is that? You can take a ride in one here. This village was one of the passions of Henry Ford. Thomas Edison's workshop is here. An original courthouse that Abraham Lincoln worked out of is here. There's so much here. It's off the charts cool. It's like the eighth wonder of the world. To me, the Henry Ford Museum is just next door. Speaking of cool, I'm standing right in front of the home that the Wright brothers lived in, Wilbur and Orville. They had two older brothers and a younger sister too, but this home behind me was once located at 7 Hawthorne Street in Dayton, Ohio. It's here now. Henry Ford took it apart piece by piece and carefully reconstructed it here. The Wright Cycle Company, where they built the first flyer, just down the street as well. It's just so incredible to me that bicycle mechanics from Dayton, Ohio, Orville and Wilbur Wright, 4 years apart, bicycle mechanics with no money, just the proceeds from their bicycle sales to build their first flyers, no education, yet it was Wilbur and Orville who figured out how to get a flyer off the ground with a motor on it, with a human on it, when at Kitty Hawk, Outer Banks of North Carolina, December 17th, 1903, they lifted off for 120 feet, about 12 seconds. 65 years later, there would be a man on the moon. The Wright brothers' story is so inspiring. How did they do it before everyone else who had all the money? Samuel Pierpont Langley had what you would think everything it takes to be successful. Samuel Pierpont Langley, he had war grants from the War Department, 50,000, money from friends, Alexander Graham Bell. He had the media with him, he had the brightest minds with him, yet it was the Wright brothers with no education, no money. They figured it out first. How'd they do it? Purpose, cause, belief. Belief that if they could create this flying machine, they could revolutionize the world. And by God, they did. Just an incredible story. What's up?
Hey.
What'd you see? Anything?
I just went into Mrs. Cohen's hat shop, and I learned that they still trim and make those hats by hand. No glue guns, no sewing machines, no nothing. They all still make all those hats by hand. I thought that was really, really amazing.
There's a lot of really, really amazing things here at Greenfield Village in Dearborn, Michigan.
Are you videotaping me right now?
Well, who made the Model T?
Henry Ford.
Good choice. I mean, this is the Henry Ford Museum. Actually, we're in the Greenfield Village, and we're about ready to take a ride on a Model T. Are you down with that?
Heck yeah, I am.
Yeah, man.
Let's do it.
Yeah, we'll get in the back.
If
Thank
you want to
sir.
sit in the front, you can.
No, I want to sit next to my favorite daughter. Oh, Carly didn't hear that. I'm just
We all
kidding,
set?
Carly.
Yeah.
Just kidding,
Okay,
Carly.
off we go.
2 favorite daughters. Model T on, baby.
Model T on.
Cool stuff.
Right.
Thank you very much.
Have you done this before?
No.
I did one time during the Christmas holiday season
Okay.
at night, which was really cool.
That's a much shorter ride than you're going to get now.
That's okay. That's why one of the reasons I'm here. The Wright brothers. They fascinate me, and that's their cycle shop,
That
and
is.
that's the house they built. That wraparound porch.
That's right. That's their home.
I can't wait to go inside.
The
This is
cycle
so
shop
cool.
is really cool because, you know, that's the actual building where they built that first plane. And the tools on the bench are actually the tools that they used to build that plane.
That's so cool.
Yep.
That is so. I'm so fascinated by it. I just read the book by
Meet the
by
McCullough.
David McCullough.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, it's just fascinating.
So where are you from?
We came up from Sylvania, Ohio.
Okay.
How about you?
I live in Grosse Pointe, so I'm not far. It's
Okay.
24 miles.
Yeah, very, very cool. So this thing got a 350 in it?
454.
454.
Now this has a 2.9 liter engine. It's a 4-cylinder. Develops 20 horsepower. Gives the car about 20 miles to the gallon, and a top speed of about 45 miles an hour.
Cool.
And this vehicle.
This is like being back in time, which
is.
is where I like to be. The Wright Cycle Company, this is where it all happened. It was a funeral parlor on the right, but to the left, the brothers Wilbur and Orville rented this space, built bicycles on the front showroom area. In the back is where they built their first flyer that would lift off at Kitty Hawk in 1903. This is absolutely fascinating, and thank God that Henry Ford had the wherewithal to save this place, restore it, and rebuild it here in the Greenfield Village. The Wright brothers actually rented this building. The right side was a funeral parlor. They worked and built bicycles here on the left side. Yeah, some of the original tools used by the Wright brothers to build bicycles, planes, and so much more. This is so cool.
Hello.
Hello, how are you?
Yeah, welcome to you. Been here before?
I have never been in this building.
Where are you from?
We're from Sylvania, but I recently read the book by David McCullough, and I'm fascinated by the Wright brothers. I'm going to be going to Dayton, and
You're going to Dayton later?
next weekend actually.
Next weekend. Dayton's a great visit, I can tell you that. And so is Kitty Hawk, North Carolina.
I'm sure of that. How did this is the actual Wright Cycle Company? How, they actually moved all the bricks, everything from Dayton, Ohio. How'd they do it?
Very carefully. Henry Ford did that all over the village, anywhere. He was fabulous for historical authenticity, for everything he did everywhere. So it's very carefully. The village opened in 1929. These buildings came. He got these in the village here in 1936.
Wow.
Both the home and the cycle shop are very original.
Did they like take them apart piece by
Oh,
piece by
absolutely.
piece,
Oh, yes.
number it and
Since-
put it back together?
That's what happened. You have to number it and code it. And this is one of the most famous photographs in the world and the most reproduced. Flight number 1 on a cold and windy day, December 17, 1903, Kitty Hawk, North Carolina. And no matter what any of you youngsters may think, I wasn't there. And tell me, do you not see Orville on his tummy tum?
Indeed.
Yes, you do. He's clearly just lifting off the launching rail in the first flight. 4 flights in just an hour and a half. They took turns, Orville, Wilbur, Orville, Wilbur. Here's what's so great about those 4 little flights. I do mean great with a capital G. There's 5 criteria that spells it out very clearly. These are the world's first ever successful airplane flights that were manned by a pilot, powered by a motor and 2 pusher propellers, heavier than the air they're flying in, controlled, one more important for a world record, self-launching from level ground. That is the 5 criteria that separates their successful flights against anything that had ever been flying in our world before. Orville and Wilbur simply called their plane Flyer. So that original Flyer is in the National Air and Space Museum in Washington, D.C., part of the Smithsonian Institute. What you're going to see as you go through the building toward the exit in the machine shop where they built the plane, right there. First of all, there's not enough room to build an airplane right there. But I'm here to tell you, they built the airplane right there. Orville and Wilbur Wright succeeded with a high school education, 4 years. That should impress anybody. Another one is to take this home to your coffee clutch. This is incredible. For the Wright brothers, there were no corporate sponsors, no government grants, no government loans. This bicycle shop alone supported them in everything they did.
Cool.
So I'm looking at the original desk the
Yes,
Wright
you are.
brothers used.
Yes, you are, sir.
That's very cool. And you
It's
said
just-
there's a safe down there too.
Like you think about it, and like people, from a completely different time period came in the store to buy bike stuff, and that's just like,
You know?
So we're in the back of the Wright Cycle Shop, and this is where they built their first flyer.
Absolutely.
The one that would lift off at Kitty Hawk, December 17, 1903.
That's it.
And there's not enough room to build a flyer, yet they did it anyway.
That's why
Look
I
at the
say
lathes
intensive.
and the machinery. I mean,
I got
built the motor here.
other people come out.
Does this not blow your mind that the Wright brothers built the first airplane here in this original shop?
this is crazy. The original wingspan was over 40 feet, but this shop only fit 16 feet.
So they had to build it in sections.
They built in sections, and they didn't even put it together till they reached Kitty Hawk. So they had no idea what it was gonna be like. They just they wung it.
It was one big experiment after another. It's just amazing.
They winged it. They winged it.
They winged it. That's good. I like that. Do I know you?
I hope so.
Anything brilliant to say right now? That's okay.
Shout out to Greenfield Village for being so totally awesome.
Coming up on the original Wright brothers home. Emily, they built that, Orville and Wilbur built that wraparound porch.
Cool dudes.
They were beyond cool
They were
dudes.
smart.
We were so
and they
lucky to
were
have them.
Just so cool.
From Dayton, Ohio. It's an Ohio thing, Emily.
Definitely.
We're Ohioans.
It's definitely an
Welcome
Ohio
to the
thing.
Wright brothers home.
There's wallpaper in this carpet though. Whoa.
You're welcome.
So
Have a good day
cool.
yourself. Well, good morning.
Hello.
This is their sitting room here.
Yes, there's their mom, right?
This
Susan
is the
Kerner,
one- yeah,
right?
That's exactly right. Well, you've done your homework.
Wilbur and Orville on the back
fireplaces.
porch.
Yeah, and that's the father over there, Milton.
Bishop, Milton Bishop, right? Yeah.
And then there's the two other brothers that most people have never heard of.
Lauren and Reichland or something?
Yeah, David Close, right twin.
Okay.
And then, of course, they had a baby sister right over here.
Catherine.
There's Catherine
Katie.
up the other one. The other one is a friend of Catherine.
Catherine was so instrumental, and I'm glad that when David McCullough wrote his book that he included her
Oh, yeah.
the way he did.
She's a big player in their success.
Absolutely. She
big
also
speakers.
took care of Orville when he busted himself to pieces
Yes,
after
he
the
did.
wreck, you know, and
That's
she was
right.
very, important in that regard, in so many regards.
Right.
This is the everyday hangout room, sitting room. This is the family room, the 4 bedrooms where Orville, Wilbur, Mr. and Mrs. Wright, and Catherine, they lived up there. I got you. This is so cool. The ideas that were born in this room, whether it was a piece of paper they tried to fly across the room for starters, but the ideas and what happened here is just beyond incredible. That little desk in the background to the right, that is the same desk that exists in the front parlor today. There it is. That's the desk that Wilbur Wright wrote to Smithsonian in 1899, very important letter, asking for all the information, all the literature he could get his hands on regarding flying machines, gliders. And from there, it all happened. So cool. That photo was taken right here. So welcome to the dining room of the Wright family home. Can you just only imagine the stories and conversations that happened around that table in this room? Milton Wright, his wife Susan, the kids, Wilbur and Orville, his sister Catherine. This is just history unmatched. The Wright brothers' home, there's that famous photo of Wilbur and Orville sitting on this back porch. Yeah, but this is their home. Meticulously put back together, board by board, numbered piece by piece here in the Greenfield Village. Right across the street from the Wright brothers' house, the home of H.J. Hines Ketchup, born in that house in Sharpsburg, Pennsylvania. Horseradish too. So what, you were saying you didn't want to be in reality? You want to jump back when?
Oh, 1800s. I don't want to be in reality.
No.
There's too much pressure, too much technology, too much of everything. It was a much simpler time. I mean, people died more often, but like,
We're all gonna die too.
we're all gonna die anyway. So like, why not see what it's like in 1860?
Let's go back in time.
Heck yeah.
Let's go.
Strumming on that old banjo.
There's a lot of Thomas Edison at Greenfield Village, the Menlo Park workshop. He invented so many things in back there, and so much here. It's just absolutely fascinating. You really need to take the time to come see this place. Hey everyone, hope you enjoyed your day today with us at the Greenfield Village. I know we did, and if you haven't been there, you gotta see it. There's so much to see and do there. Now, we did the Wright brothers thing today, but you could spend a week there and not cover all they have to see. It's just really, really incredible. I encourage you to go. I also recommend that you read this book, The Wright Brothers, by my favorite author, David McCullough, two-time Pulitzer Prize winner. He really does a great job of digging in and finding out who exactly the Wright brothers were and all they accomplished and all the struggles they went through. Just unbelievable. After their 3 years at Kitty Hawk, they came home with their flying machines and were buzzing around a field just northeast of Dayton, Ohio. Nobody believed they were doing it, and this went on and on and on. The Dayton Daily News wouldn't even come out and cover them. Everybody thought they were wackos, crackpots. Well, the world found out soon that they were indeed not wackos, that they were truly brilliant pioneers of their day. The American government didn't even believe for 2 years after they were successfully flying that they were actually doing it, not until the French started taking an interest in them. Then the American government finally caught on. But what they went through to get where they got is truly incredible. It's a great story. It's why I'm going to Dayton, Ohio next week to cover part 2 of my feature on the Wright brothers, and I can't wait to get there. Really looking forward to it. For the History Mystery Man, I'm still Don Radeball. We'll look forward to seeing you from Dayton, Ohio. How about that? And how about that guy? Isn't he cool? Back in his Indiana days, axe in his hand, which he called that most useful instrument, and of course a book where he taught himself to be President of the United States. How cool is that?